سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Amin. Shukran, Imam Jallo. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God of power and might, the creator, the sustainer, and the preserver of all humankind, created in your image and in your likeness, and planted in every nation of the world. We continue to ask for your divine mercy, particularly at this COVID time on nations that are going through difficult times. We do ask that the vaccines that have been circulated in nations will be sanctified by you and be made efficacious. But you are the healer. We pray that by your healing and miraculous wonder-working power, that you heal and grant each and every human being living in every nation of the world a complete clean bill of health. And we continue to bring before you the witnesses that will come before this commission today. And we do pray that you shall grant them the boldness to be able to speak the truth. And grant the commission also the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. We continue to pray for the population of this nation, the Gambia, the diaspora, and the international community as well. We do ask that you shall grant them extraordinary patience to allow the due process to take its proper course. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Odiko. Council, if you're ready with this morning's witness, you may proceed, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, and members of the audience. We're ready with this morning's witnesses, but before we call them, may I indicate that we are changing moving from the institutional hearing of the justice sector institutions to some regional hearings where we examine human rights violations that may have occurred in certain regions of the Gambia. And we do so because we want the TRRC hearings to be as extensive as possible and to cover almost the entire country. So today we would hear from witnesses from Jambanjeli. And in so doing, we want to focus more on violations that affect communities rather than violations that happen only against individuals. But it of course depends on what is available out there. The investigations are working assiduously to get us the kind of material that we're looking for. But now and again, because we have not quite finished the institutional hearings on the justice sector, now and again we may go back there depending on the availability of witnesses. We're hoping that a representative or two from the judiciary would talk about the experiences of the judges. So that would be an important part of our hearing on the justice sector institutions. And we are also expecting that we will receive a statement from one of the justice sector NGOs that operate in West Africa. It would tell us about their experiences fighting human rights violations that occurred during the Jammeh regime. So all these hearings are yet to come. But for today, we're moving away from the justice sector institutional hearings to the regional hearings where we would hear from witnesses from Jambanjeli. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And Maria Masingate would lead that.
A good explanation, thank you for that. We may continue, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Kambi, can you kindly bring the witnesses in?
I Seku Bayo.
Nte Seku Bayo.
I Seku Bayo.
Nte Seku Bayo.
Nte Seku Bayo.
Do swear that
Benkalilako.
I'll speak the truth.
Mbetonyale fola.
The whole truth.
Tonya damma.
And nothing but the truth.
Ndunte fem fola memmanke tonyade.
So help me God.
Woto alama ala yendema.
Amen. I, Lamin Dabo,
Nte Lamin Dabo.
do swear that
Benkalilako.
I'll speak the truth,
Mbetonyale fola.
the whole truth,
Tonya damma.
and nothing but the truth.
Nte fem fola memmanke tonyade.
So help me God.
Woto alama ala yendema.
I, Abdullah Samba,
Nte Ablaye Samba.
do swear that
Benkalilako.
I'll speak the truth,
Mbetonyale fola.
the whole truth,
Tonya damma.
and nothing but the truth.
Nte fem fola memmanke tonyade.
So help me God.
Woto alama ala yendema.
Amen.
Good morning, witnesses.
Alsama Sedolu.
Welcome to the TRRC.
Bismillah la TRRC.
As you already know, my name is Mariama Singate,
Men alialo nyamen anteto mo Mariama Singate leti.
and I'll be leading you on behalf of the Commission this morning.
Andun telebe tambila nyato commission to ya alla sedandro wicho nyinkono.
As you have agreed to willingly participate in the TRRC process,
Malamen alfangol sonta ko alda bulala TRRC la du ko nyinkono le.
I have the duty to inform you that you are to speak the truth and nothing but the truth.
To nyinketa nyimmun kan lonkundo dunole pour ka fale ko nyimmal fanan kan lonkundo dunole pour ale to nyafo.
Giving false or misleading evidence to the TRRC is an offense.
Kuma soto balo fo TRRC nyati lingola jam wo mu kulere mi alon ko luwati nyalem.
That is punishable under Gambian law and under the TRRC Act.
Andun kuluro wala belari nga ala kardantan wala ni me atra moy kuma soto balo fo TRRC nyati lingola jam.
Or today,
Rubi sio
you are here to tell us about the incident of 14th December 2004.
Bitengal besio melo ja wala nyiti kolla me alon ko wala kita December karo kono 2004 sango kono.
We would want to know the history
Belafla kalon tarikol
behind this particular dispute,
nying wali on me alon ko wala kita ko nyin kono.
events that led up to the dispute,
Kolla men na sababu nyin wali on nyinna.
what actually transpired between the community and the PIU officers on that day,
Mon na sababu kolla men keta sato silalo anin nyim paral tema.
the massive arrest of community members,
Mutarola me alon ko mutare siari ngo me alon ko wala kita kala nyin sate mol kan.
the torture meted out on you during your detention at the PIU headquarters in Kanifing,
Tajire ya me alon ko wala kita tol dol me alon ko mutamol ne yemen kela pia paral la dinkira to membe kanifing.
your subsequent remand at the Mile 2 Central Prison,
Inata nal bondije yal samba kasi bungo to.
and the impact of this particular incident on the community of Jambanjeli.
Andung hanin kabi mutaronyin kabra keta nyimolla inata mun kole akulle sabu sate molla membe jambanjeli sato kono.
As you are testifying as a group,
Tumala men albali Allah la sedan do nyingal ba di kan nyokan.
I will be asking you individual questions,
Be karla nyinin karal kunkilin na nyinin karo la na wato sida.
and in so doing, I'll call out your name so that you know that the question is directed at you.
andum be kala nyame wala nyimdi ko ni ngatra nyinin karo nyimbe nyinin karo be momo nyinin kala be tole kumanda isaje se nyinin karo nyin jabi.
I will also ask general questions.
Wato do be nyinin karo nyinin kala me alon ko ba kuno fanundilale.
So do feel free to raise your hand if you feel that you can answer it.
Isi fan so do ni ngatra nyinin karo me alon ko nga kuno fanundile ni ngatra mo jabi so do nyinin kar sifa isi bulo wulne do yo nyinin kar sifa jabi.
This is so that to ensure that your testimony is properly coordinated.
Nimu nyalti do isaje nyin kamala ko alla sedan dro nyin albe men dila sala ni nyala me alon ko be la kulale.
And the story is clear for everyone to understand.
Andu ibaje albe kuma ko men fanam fola be kala mo be kulet me alon ko ba faham la bidu ne ko sondo mol kono.
So we can start now.
Silence sedan dro nyin damuta.
I'll start from the first person.
Ba damuta la mo folo nyin na.
Can you kindly tell us your name?
Itoni konton fo nyaba.
Dr. Abdullahi Sambaleti.
My name is Abdullahi Samba.
When and where were you born?
Wuluta mintole ande wuluta sanjuma Abdullahi.
Wuluta 1959 le.
I was born in 1959.
Wuluta Jambanjel.
And I was born in Jambanjeli.
Do you have any formal education?
Ye londi karan kala ba tumba karan ba.
Ntata nung karambongoto le nga Jambanjeli Primary School kele.
Yes, I went to the Jambanjeli Primary School.
Bota je ntata Armitage.
From there, I went to Armitage School.
In what year did you go to Armitage School?
Sanjuma la mitata Armitage karammoto.
Ntata Armitage 1974 le.
I went to Armitage in 1974.
And in what year did you graduate from Armitage?
Sanjuma la yela karamon kumfa Armitage karammoto.
1979 le.
I graduated from Armitage School in 1979.
After graduating from Armitage School, did you proceed to further your education?
Biriela karamon kumfa Armitage karamon ndo fo inara na karamon ka tendendi kata londi la fala la doro ba.
Ane manta dula doro ndanta olto.
That's where I stopped with my education. I didn't go to anywhere to further my education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samba.
Numbarabake, Mr. Samba.
This question is directed at the second person.
Sila nyini karo bira mo fulanja nyine ya.
Can you kindly tell us your name?
Ito ni konton fo nyabang.
Lamin Dabo.
My name is Lamin Dabo.
Just slant the mic a bit.
My
answering the question. Thank you. very much.
My name is Lamin Dabo.
Can you tell us when and where you were born?
Isa fo no nyabang iwuluta mintola ndu iwuluta sanjuma la fanana.
Wuluta Jambanjel.
I was born in Jambanjeli
1969.
in 1969.
Do you have any formal education?
Itu karango kela ba?
Nga karango kela.
Yes, I went to school.
Can you please give us a brief background of your education with dates?
Watu sutun kondron kumala sutun ka fa isila lon karango nyi ya damura damen isa fo no nyabang ni lungol nyi ni ngata hakilo samuda no.
Nga kumas Jambanjel.
I started at Jambanjeli.
Botaje ndada Gunjur in 1985.
I went to Gunjur in 1985.
Gunjur Secondary Technical School.
It was the Gunjur Secondary Technical School.
Up to 1989.
I was there up to 1989.
Thereafter, did you further your education?
Kola fo inara na londi la fa fanan kele kotanke ba.
Ani man now chance to know.
I didn't get the chance to follow my education.
Thank you very much. Now this question is directed to the third person. Can you please kindly tell the commission your names and when and where you were born?
Nyinin karro bita mo sabanda nyon nyinne ya. Fa isi to ini konton fo no nye bang ani wuluta sanjuma la ndi wuluta minto le fana.
My name is Sekubayo. I was born in Jambanjeli
1954.
in 1954.
Do you have any formal education?
No, I didn't go to school.
Thank you very much.
Mbarabaga.
Mr. Bayo, can you kindly tell us what you do for a living?
Mr. Bayo, fa isa fono nya ikamuneke ikabalu menna bang.
I am a farmer.
How about you, Mr. Dabo?
Mr. Dabo dung, Lamin Dabo.
Kabin jira school nga doko start janale Gambega.
When I left school, I started working for a white man's company called Gambega.
How about you, Mr. Samba? Can you tell us what you do for a living?
Mr. Samba no ita fanandung ikabalu muna la ikamuna doko ke ikabalu menna.
Yes, 1982 ndunta nung police le.
In the year of 1982, I joined the police department.
Gambia Police Force.
The Gambia Police Force.
1987 fama yambondije.
In 1987, my father decided to withdraw me from the police force.
Ngata ala business okono.
He told me to go and join him in his business.
No business ole kono for sani.
That's the business I continue doing up to now.
This question goes to all of you. You may indicate by raising your hand if you wish to answer. Is there anyone among you who serves in the Village Development Committee?
Nyinin kardo bital mo bele ka nga kono fanundi le wala nyinti ko atol mo sabol nyimbe kono fo mo bal kono ba me alon ko ay do ko ke sa tewla yirwande kafo nyindo bang ka me VDC.
Yes, Mr. Samba.
Yes.
Ndalamu VDC la Public Relations Officer presently.
Presently, I am the Public Relations Officer of the VDC.
For how long have you served your Village Development Committee?
Itardo sa tewla yirwande kafo nyindo fo wati jeru.
Every 4 years nka changes kere but nga serving ke Village Development Committee kono with different subsequent VDCs.
Every 4 years there are changes, but I have served the VDC with different groups, committees which are part of the VDC.
Can you tell us the year you first started serving your community in the Village Development Committee?
Silang fa isa fono commission e sanju malam ya damuta pour ka do ko ke Allah sa te wala yiri wandi kafo committee o nyi ba
1982.
It was in 1982.
Since 1982, you have been an active member of the Village Development Committee. Is that correct?
What would all come for a period?
Well, sometimes I take leave of the committee and rest for a period, and later on I'll come back to the committee.
Mr. Dabo, can you kindly tell us about an incident that occurred in Jambanjeli on the 14th of December 2004?
Fo isa fono Mr. Dabo isa fono commission e bang ko la me alon ko wala ketade Jambanjeli sa do kono December karo tiltang anin nani 2004 son kono.
Nyinin karo la sinna bara man ken defa nyala je bare butu ngami moye min fonye.
Well, I was not present during when the incident took place, but what I heard from people, what they narrated to me,
wala nyindi ko Nawek nimpara lenata je.
They said that workers from Nawek came there with members of the paramilitary force.
Ko nata bolo nyine wutuje.
They said they came there to remove the borehole from the village. They want to take it to another place where there are no boreholes or who are not having a borehole. I was not there. I don't know what sparked the problem, but that's where the problem itself started.
Mr. Samba, since you have served in the Village Development Committee since 1982, that is on and off.
Mr. Samba, tumalamen na ite do go ke sa te ola yirwandi committee o nyindo kabri 1982 san kono.
Can you kindly tell us the history of this community borehole.
Foisi tariko me alongo wala bete sujiri nyim sa tawla nyim boholo nyin ba foisa tariko nyim fono nyamba.
Ansa domandim fono jele.
Yes, I can narrate some of the history.
Antung nyim boholo.
This borehole.
Kabirin jawara tilole mu boholo nata jambanjele.
It was during the days or the rule of President Jawara that this borehole was brought to Jambanjili.
Kumasta ning nisi mindi kolongolela ya kenung purka nisol mindi je inata pompi lulu ke boholo balaje pur molse munafengo ala fanang.
Initially, it was put there just for cattle. It was a cattle drinking point. That's how it started. But later on, they decided to install 5 standpipes there for people of the village to be able to get water from those standpipes. Then there came a time when the standpipes developed a problem. Then at that time, there were many people living in the village, and a villager was working at the water resources department. And another project came to the village.
Another water resources in another
and this project was brought to the village by the Department of the Water Resources.
Inata ye pompi kuto keje, ye tanki do keje, inata pipe fe purnga sate okono nga dinkol sing ngesare.
When this new project came to the village, they brought in a new standpipe and a new tank was installed for the village, and later on they brought in pipes so that these pipes will be laid so that water will be distributed in the whole village.
Pompo kabiringa nga kumasi ka doku ay sanji woro la fo sile.
When we start
mba ayus kang sate okono.
When we installed these taps, it went up to 6, 7, up to 8 years when we were using those standpipes.
Initially, nga kenu nyame ngole mukabiring nga pompi nga pipe sing watu minangi sare sate okono momo lafta dundile la suo kono eka kemele jo kari wo kari.
Initially, when we were installing those standpipes, anyone who wants to have a standpipe in your compound, you pay $100, and we will lay down the pipes which will lead to your compound for you to have your own standpipe inside your compound.
Apart from the $100 contribution towards having a standpipe in each individual compound,
ninga bota yin dalasi ke mola kunkile na kunkila kam na kamenjo puru isaje si jio sabay nang ila korda nyin kono.
Did the community make any other contribution towards this particular borehole project?
Sate mol nyin fo ika kafung gandang do fanan kele bang puru nyim borehole la kula bang.
Kantung korda pompo be da men kari wo kari ika kemo minjo. Water committee le ka kafu nyoma.
Yes, because every month, every compound has to pay $100. Those who had standpipes in their compound. Then there was a water committee who will collect that money.
Samba every year amount bijele ikaming samba water resources ikata joji.
Every year there is an amount which they take to the water resources department and pay that amount to the department.
Eko puru maintenance fee.
And that's for the maintenance fee.
Wo tatale for ay sanji jamasi.
That went on for many years.
Exactly ntafonola sanji jeldem kantung awato metale.
It was a long time, so this is why I cannot say how many years it took.
Bari lundo sotota water resources la mol fangon nata je meeting wala.
But there was a day when workers from the water resources department came there to have a meeting at the village.
Inata itandina ko alieming jo nyimpompo to sanyi al nyimpompo mal taleti.
Then they explained to the villagers that the amount that you have paid on this water project now these standpipes belong to you.
Owato mbije fo ya jamme tilo nata.
We stayed there like that until when Yaya Jammeh took over the country.
Sando sotota anata je meeting ola.
1 year, he came to have a meeting at the village.
Sate mol bawo jio buka mol si sate o karakili ngo dammale ka jio soto mobe buka soto.
And this water was not enough for the whole village. It's only half of the village who usually get water, but the other half of the village lack water from this project.
Mol nata dani o meeting dulato ko ningse bohol flanjango soto no.
Then people appealed to him at the meeting place. The villagers appealed to him so that we can have a second borehole.
O watole inata project do fanam fe e borehole flanjango lo.
This was the time when they brought in another project to install a second borehole.
Abri o borehole flanjango lo.
Akoye lamoy aya bulo wulindi yenne.
My apologies.
Bekara jubele na aya bulo wulindi tendorong wala mnyinti ko ilamoy.
Okay.
My apologies to you, Mr. Samba.
Mr. Samba,
I should have mentioned that earlier in my introduction. I just wanted the others also to contribute to the narrative. Mr. Bayo.
Mr. Bayo.
What kind of meeting did the community approach Yaya Jammeh in and ask for another borehole?
Meeting sifalem sate moli Yaya Jammeh walim men ka dani puru ay dema puru ye borehole fulanyon sodo.
Kabira nata Jambanjeli meeting ola.
When he came to Jambanjeli for a meeting,
borehole mimbijang abika mobe sabno.
He was given the information that this borehole, which is existing here, doesn't serve the whole village. He promised the villagers that he will bring in a second borehole.
My question was actually, what kind of meeting was it? Was it an official meeting, a government meeting, or was it a political rally?
Ako. Aka nyininkaro men nyininka meeting woni be woni ngana ram ben sifa nyaadi laje fo anata political rally meeting wala mbang fo nyi masakun comme ruaya kanindro men kabula nyana ka menke ba nyana wala nata wala fa nata political meeting wala
nata political meeting wala.
He came there for a political rally.
So when the villagers approached the president to build another borehole at the village in order to ensure that everyone has access to water, it was done.
Amunta birin sate mol nyi wosita e nyatiling am president nyi nay wosita pour ay dema pour sate aussi pompe borehole fulanjan so saje mol si jio so a sonayari ngo.
Yes.
Yes.
After building another borehole for the village, what then happened?
Biring inatana borehole fulanjan nyi sing sate molye muna natanake.
Kabiru wasinta.
When that borehole was installed, one day,
Paul Gomez na MP,
they said that our member of parliament, Paul Gomez, they came to the alkali and informed him that now we have got a new borehole. They will now dismantle the old one and take it to another village whereby that village also will have their own borehole, and it will be a village where there is no borehole. Then we realized that that old borehole, in fact, was better than the new one which was installed.
Mr. Sorry, I'm getting a bit. Mr. Dabo.
Mr. Dabo.
Can you tell us how the committee determined the effectiveness of the new borehole against the old one?
Mr. Dabo for isa for no nye. sate mol nying woliya lonno e faye nyaadile bohol koto maning wala bete ya daga tambi nyim boso bohol kutamanin
bohol koto
Yes, the old borehole
wole sembo soto kutamanindi
happens to be more powerful than the new one.
According to ngamoy nawek staff wala nyami.
As I heard the NAWEC staff saying, they informed us that the old one is more powerful than the new one. But where this resistance came, resisting that the old one should not be removed, it was when we had that one borehole, it was not able to serve the whole village. This is why we needed a second one, so that the whole village can have pipe water.
Mr. Samba, what was the reaction of the Alcalo and the village leaders when they were told that the government wanted to remove the old borehole and transfer it to another community?
Yeah, Mr. Samba, silang muna na ke sate Alcalo ni sate Alfalla lontang kangoti. Biring inata ko be koto borehole koto ni ba samba ya samba sate doro. Muna na ke Alcalo ni sate kebal lontang kangoti.
Biring inata iko ebe borehole ni wutulale ka samba.
When they came, they said they are going to dismantle the old borehole and take it away.
Reaction was started youths nyolella.
The reaction started with the youths.
Because before in Alcalo be meeting okela in Natale directly borehole auto eko moli taraje eba wutukang.
Well, when they came, they didn't go to the alkali. They just went straight to the borehole and started the dismantling of the borehole.
Are you telling the commission that prior to the meeting with the alcali, they had come directly to the borehole and wanted to remove it without the consent of the alcali and the members of the community?
Monday lafta kamen fa nyin commission eja wala nyinti ko nyimmol biritol nata pour kata nyim borehole nyimudu imanta fam pour kata e diam alcalo anin sate alfalie itatal dron borehole nyimbe dame to pour kata ka borehole nyimudu ilafta ka wala fa commission
Yes.
And how did the youths react to this?
Silang funding kel nyi wumna na ke wala tamandirlu siloti yemuneta.
Abirum funding kel ye jeje drong.
When the youths
inata ye confront.
When the youths of the village found them there or saw them there dismantling the borehole, they came to them there at the venue and immediately confronted them.
Abiri tata.
So when they left,
Muntata alcalo ya.
We went to the alkali.
Alcalo nyininka.
We asked the alkali.
Alcalo ka makalamuta.
The alkali said he was not even aware of it.
Can you tell us the people that came to remove the borehole?
Isa fono commission jumale keta nyimolti menu nata kanyim borehole koto nyinka wutu.
Nawek la staff slem.
There were staff of the Nawek with some
paral, but paral mansia mo dantan nemu in England rovale fango nata ji.
The NAWEC staff came there with some paramilitary officers, but the paramilitary officers were not many. They came there, in fact, with one vehicle, a Land Rover. When we asked the alkali and he said he was not aware of it, then we called for a village meeting.
A task force select.
We selected a task force. And me personally, I was a member of the task force.
The first port of call was to the chief, Ajay Jani.
Our first port of call, we went to the chief. By then, it was Ajay Jani.
Atlantic Hotel lafang otuma abedo ko laji.
We went to meet him at the Atlantic Hotel where he was walking.
And kumolbe explain aye.
And then we explained the whole matter to him. Ajay said to us, any person who comes there and wanted to remove that borehole, don't allow them.
Did the chief tell you the reason why you must resist any individual that comes to remove the borehole from the village?
Sefo nyi memu nyi aje janete fo ay dalilo fali ne ban dalilo me asabu ninga tara momo nata sato nyi kono lafta kanyim borehole nyi wuduje pour aller balam fo ay dalilo fali ne ban
jero kabiringa na kumol faye ñinun nata ñamen imam futa alkalo ya nga alkalo ñininka alkalo ko ama kalamuta.
When we explained to him how these people came to the village, they didn't go to the alkali, and we went to the alkali to ask him, and the alkali said he was not even aware of these people's coming there.
Konya ko ni wo keta wole keta kany woto momo nata ji alkana song.
And the chief said, if that is the way they acted, then anyone who comes there, don't allow them to touch the borehole.
So for the mere fact that they did not seek permission from the alkali before coming to remove the borehole, that was why the chief told you that anyone that comes to the place, you must resist.
Unda nyindali lo kan wole mu nyindi ko nyin kamala ko tumala menna menu na raje kana boholo nyi wudu manta alkalo nyi ya menke o dalilo la sa wi sefo kale ko wor ning adra walam momo na raje kapru kanyim bohol ko to nyi wudu alkana son.
Yes.
Abirimbota sefo ya.
When we left the chief,
Tata Paul ya.
We went to Paul, our member of parliament. We met him at Kunkujang. When we narrated the whole story to him, he told us right now, at this moment, don't allow anybody to remove that borehole from there. But I will also make inquiries about the whole matter.
Tata Ministry of Water Resources, the Department of Banjul.
When we left the Member of Parliament's place, we went to the Ministry of Water Resources. We went to the department itself in Banjul. We found the director there and explained the matter to him. He said to us, okay, we will look into this matter.
Tata APRC la political bureau otumo Adama Cham sabijin kolemu abije.
So after that, we didn't end there. We went to the APRC's political bureau. At that time, there was somebody from Sukuta called Adama Cham who was working at the political bureau there. We had a meeting with him and explained the whole matter to him too. He said to us, okay, go, but we will come there.
Bring Ntolbotaje Nata, Ate Adamacham, Aning Sefo, Aning Paul, your delegation of form in Ata Sate Auto meeting.
So when we went back home, Adamacham plus the Member of Parliament, Paul, plus the chief, they formed a delegation and came to the village for a meeting.
Is that the meeting that Mr. Bayo was telling us about?
Mr. Bayo
Political meeting o mingi ya lonko mole pompo dani ya jamebulu. Ani nying meeting o mankili nyindongo nyinule delegation of form pour kana specially pour about nyimbo holo la kuo.
The rally, the political rally which took place in the village was where we appealed to the president to bring a second borehole for us into the village. That meeting is quite different from this one. This one is a meeting where Adama Cham, the member of parliament, the chief, where they came to the village and had a meeting with us.
Mr. Bayot also did mention that the chief and the member of parliament, Mr. Paul Gomez, had come to the village. Mr. Bayo, was that the meeting you were referring to?
Yes. Yeah, that's meeting alone. Yes, that was the meeting.
Mr. Bayo, can you kindly confirm if that was the meeting you're referring to?
Mr. Bayo, meeting on lava.
Political rally.
The meeting where the meeting that he just explained, where the member of parliament and the chief came to the village.
Yes. Go meeting killing alone.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that's the same meeting.
So after the meeting with the chief and Member of Parliament, what came out of that meeting?
Biring nyimbengo
That's to you,
botala.
Mr. Samba, since you were serving in the VDC.
Mr. Samba biring nyimbengo botala alning al deputy mention ala la CFO. Muna nata na finti obengo nyinkono. Akola.
Kabiri nata yenyine itandi ko president ko ise nyimbo holo wutu ya Samba dula do to dolle bije joka du kono imang boholo soto iba Samba laji.
When these people came, the information they gave us was that the president said that that borehole should be dismantled and removed, and they are going to take it to somewhere in Jokadu because there is a place in Jokadu who are also in need of water.
Nata itandila ko bao abe wole nyama. Then altole boholo min natin tole alwota. Ali min tarambulo ali otumbulo.
Then we explained to them that, okay, the borehole that you brought, the new one, remove that one and take it away. But as for this old borehole, leave that one because you found that one here. Leave that one with us.
Did you know at that time that the government also has a duty to distribute development among communities?
Bari fo en yillonne ko wato la mansa kunda fanang amuy kalun kundu dunolti pour ka je ko yiru wal nying ka janjandi be sidlal beto mol kan.
What's a kenole?
Yes, yes, that can happen because that's the job of the government.
Wala yatin na kabiri boto meeting wala ntol nga delegation do from Tata Banjun ila mayor mimbenunji wofana mu member of the political bureau leti.
This is why after that meeting we formed another delegation and went to Banjul to meet the mayor who was also a member of that political organization.
Nga yetandala ko alla pompi kuto alwota ntolla pompi kuto alwotumbulu.
We explained the same thing to him. The new borehole that you brought to the village, remove that one and take it to the place that we want the borehole. But the old one which was serving us before, leave that one with us. Because at that time, what we realized because we realized that the old one is what we know, that's the one we understand. So if they remove the old one there and leave this new one, which in fact, if it develops a problem, we are the people who are going to suffer.
Did anyone during that period from water resources come to the village to explain the reason why it was necessary to remove this other borehole? And assure you that the new borehole will work as effectively as the old one?
Most of the me alongo asibo dingirado bundaro me alongo wolbe marling nema jiwo ke nyala banko kan jang mem water resource di kana sato kono kala mani yandi nyinna ko ala bulado e koto mani samba nyin kuta mani mem fana mbejang abe tamala ko nyin dobe no nyaabe jiwo di dala nyama fo soro dala ba
lungo minna Paul ning Adama Cham ning CFO ibinala ini water resources la duku lal natale.
The day that Adama Cham plus our member of parliament Paul Gomez came there with the chief, they came with people who are working at the water resources. They came with staff from the water resources department.
Ikanyi ming foteng ye ofonyele barin tolman laola nko yenna kotoma tumbulu dorong.
What you just said, they explained the same thing to us. But we said no. As far as the old one is the one that we are used to, leave that one with us here. Remove the new one and take it away.
Mr. Dabo, as a community member, did you share that same sentiment that you would prefer the old borehole to the new one that was built?
Mr. Dabo, ida fanang fa ifanang sonta o hamira ku mira sifa kilngon laba wala nyindi ko ifanang kuta koto mamen beje ibe wala tala kuta mamen yemen nat yo samba.
Yes, that's what I also supported, because the old one is the one we knew. So as far as that is the one that we are used to, so that's the one I support. And the staff of NAVEC, who were workers responsible for this water, they also explained to me. He told us that this old borehole is more powerful than this new one. That became the reason why the villagers refused for the old one to be taken away. So this is why the villagers insisted that let them remove the new one and take it away and leave the old one with us.
Mr. Samba, you told us that you did report to the National Assembly member and Water Resources, and they told you that they will get back to you.
Mr. Samba, ye mfumole janko ya kunyinda ya bole ala dipido ya aning alla bunda la mealango wale male nema jiola iko be murle ne ikannan.
Did they get back to you on what you requested from them?
Po inarna muri ikannan ne bang kuma kan wala mealango yole kan yibulu bang. Mr. Samba.
Paula Carola de Memuna deputy kabiring natalata for lungu binne nata meeting wala le ngaje.
As for our member of parliament, Paul, the day we met him to give him this information was the last time I saw him until the day they came for this meeting.
Andung kabirim bota banjunu fanang wo meyo ya meeting wala nata tili sabadrong ay wale soto.
And when we went to meet the mayor in Banjul, when we returned, it took only 3 days.
Nata information o soto ko paral be birkamale ibe pare kam pour kana kelola jam.
Then that's the time when we were informed that a paramilitary unit is preparing, they are in Brikama and they are preparing to come and attack the village.
Can you tell us the name of the mayor you went to see in Banjul?
Why is that for no commission way? Jumala ni mayor di altata menje Banjul sada kono.
I'm very sorry, ntengi nata wotolale. Bari ngalon ne ko military role mnung yake meyoti abota je yake Minister of Interior.
I'm sorry, I forgot the person's name, but I knew that he was one time a soldier. Afterwards, he became a mayor, and later on he was once made a Minister of Interior.
Labanta Dakar le ambassador yala.
His last posting was in Dakar as the ambassador for the Gambia.
Information soto ko paral bina kanne.
When we got this information that the paramilitaries are preparing to come,
besiring ngadata nyokang dula killing ninna task force mall.
So we decided to come together, myself and members of the task force. We met at one place.
Approach
to discuss and see which approach we are going to take. But I know that they prepared, they had enough preparations for us.
Ibota Birkama itambita korda dole la force compound Jambanjeli.
Because when they left Brikama and came, they passed the first compound in Jambanjeli.
Mobije mingnata ay information odinna ko paral fele tambita I hainang Arab school oto ibe parekang.
Somebody from that compound came and informed us that the paramilitary unit has arrived and they have gone to the Arab school where they are preparing.
Arab school o nyingbe silo le kang ni bota Arab school o tekata kabur ko ni bota woto drong ikata boholo nyinneto.
The Arab school is on the way. From there you go to the cemetery, and after the cemetery then you go to the borehole.
Ndolfanam bota mbe sirinda ming mbinakang.
We also decided to leave where we were sitting down and we started walking. Someone among us left and went to beat the village drum, which calls people for a meeting.
Yes.
In fact, when we were going, I was leading, I was in front. I raised up my hands when I was coming.
But all of a sudden, because paral ibe riot gias le kono ye helmet le dung kaskol for duma.
When the military people wore helmets and they in fact wore riot gear, they were well prepared.
Ngaje para kilim funtite konorong alota ay tear gas ofay.
We saw one para who just went out of the group. He stood and threw tear gas.
Abra tear gas ofay. Tear gas o tambitan tol kunala jolonta dami wol janjanta.
The tear gas passed over us and fell behind us. But people who were around that vicinity also dispersed immediately. I have in the end.
Mr. Bayo?
Mr. Bayo?
Can you kindly tell us where you were when they sounded the village drum to call people?
Ebe no minto ala biring yenyi sate tabulo nyi kumandi puru kamol kafundu nyoma.
I was at my farm.
And when you heard this sound, what happened?
Biring sate tabulo nyi mwe muneketa.
I came. Whenever you hear that drum in the village, you will know that something significant has happened.
What did you see upon your arrival at the village?
Ite muneja birina na futa sato nyi kono.
When I came, I got this information that these people came to dismantle the borehole.
And these people you're referring to, I assume that they are the paramilitary officers, correct?
Ibe mol men nok mo foga nga mira ko wollem para di kodi.
Yes, they are the paramilitary.
Can you tell us what the paras were doing and what the community members were doing at that point when you met them there?
Isa fo no commission e birite nata ya tara nyim para le be munake kan anu sate mul fana be munake kan biri fulata dinkira nyin toje.
Push and pull.
It was a push and pull.
Mr. Samba just informed us that a tear gas was fired into the crowd.
Mr. Samba nyim fo jang sainte amamme ko ye tear gas fo fay jama kono.
Did you
Tear gas
arrive?
of fire.
Yeah,
Monkey killing a monkey fly.
in fact, it was not one, it was not two. They threw tear gas amongst us.
By the time you arrived,
Wato mena ite futata.
Janindeka futanga tear gas will follow me.
Before arriving at the scene itself, I first heard the sound of tear gas.
so Mr. Samba, you were the first person that had that interaction with the PIU officers, correct?
Oda munta Mr. Samba itele kita mo fulo de me alongo itele ni para le se nyolo soto.
Akantuntalanga crowd ning lead.
Yes, because I was leading the crowd.
Ari kabiri tear gas ofay.
But when they decided to throw this tear gas,
Ngambulo ntamang lode.
I didn't stop.
Mbulo be santo.
I still raised up my hands higher, but I continued walking.
Was there any form of commotion before they fired tear gas into the crowd?
Janni be nyin tear gas o nyim fayla fo nyo saba mulungo soto te damal ma alda
Mamfuta nyola fang.
In fact, we didn't even reach each other before.
Almost 100 meters bente male.
In fact, it was almost 100 meters between us and where the paramilitary were standing.
Wala nanko ipareta nkamale.
This is why I said they came prepared to attack.
Did the crowd do anything to provoke the paramilitary officers at that point before the tear gas was fired?
Jamani sate mol nyin fo ku kela ba me alongo be je para nyin kamfandi la banjandingi be tear gas o nyin fayle kan.
Not to my knowledge.
No, I wasn't aware, not to my knowledge.
Did the paramilitary officers try to engage the crowd before they fired the tear gas into the crowd?
Fo para nyin ye nyin hamo soto le nubam puru inin sate mol nyin ye ni ye nyomo fo lo banjandi be nyin tear gas o tala ka fay fo nyokon.
Hani.
No.
Andong temimbe nyato ning diamo bekela diamo nyanta kelantele.
Because I was leading the whole crowd. I was in front. If there was going to be any talk or discussion, it will start with me who was in front.
In fact, akabiringe tear gas fulanjango faye sabanjango faye.
In fact, after they threw the first, second, and the third tear gas, that was the time when people came, started arriving from the other parts of the village. That was the time the youth of the village decided to pick stones which were around the roadside and started stoning the paramilitary officers.
Why didn't you disperse the crowd after the paramilitary officers fired tear gas?
Muna ya sabu ita man jama'an yinta ye janjandi tumala min wato min para le yin gaso ta ya fai ya gaso.
Ntete mol janjandi no la wo wato kantum mol botanan karo bella ndebe karakelinne modol be kara dola dol be kara dola.
I was standing at one point, so people were approaching from all directions, so it will be impossible for me to stop or to disperse the crowd at that moment.
Can you tell us, Mr. Bayo, what you did when you arrived at that moment when tear gas was being fired into the crowd?
Mr. Bayo, if I saw for no commission, ite muneke biri fuda jamani mbe damendo tear gas of damendo ite muneke.
Kabirinda futata ngatra push and pull bekering.
When I arrived at the scene and I met this push and pull going on,
By that
time, the paramilitary had already released these tear gas canisters into the crowd, and the youths were also throwing stones at them. And it was a total mix-up. Nobody understood what was going on. When the para realized that, they realized that the population, the people who are coming out against them are more than them. That's the time when they decided to retreat. So when they retreated, they didn't go away. They decided to call in reinforcements who were soldiers.
Can you tell us roughly how many paramilitary officers were there?
Isa fono nya isa yirkano labang paramilitary jelle benunje.
There were many.
Because
at that time, nobody can count them because there will be no time to count.
Mr. Samba, you saw them come in, but that's before the riot, the protest happened.
Mr. Samba, ite jele biri bina kan nan janni nyim balambaya be sorla ini alniti kodi.
Yes.
Can you tell us roughly how many paramilitary officers arrived in the village at that point?
Isa fono nyewa ila yirka roto mu para jelle furata o dingira nyindo sa roto je.
Siyata le kantung ye troko fandina ne anim pick up fula.
Well, there were many. A truck was filled and two pickup vehicles.
And Mr. Dabo, the crowd was able to push the paramilitary officers out because there were a lot of people coming to join you.
Mr. Dabo amundala ko jamani sate mol nyin wol natana para nyi nate ganyele kadu nyin kamala ko biri yaje sate mol nyi be fintikan nan ron.
Yes. Because kabiri molye berol fay.
Because it was said that when the youth started throwing stones at the paramilitary officers, and some para members were stoned and they decided to retreat. That was the time when they called in reinforcements and soldiers were called to come in.
Were you present when all this was going on in the village?
No, it was narrated to me. That's how I'm also narrating it.
So you were not present at the time this particular incident occurred?
No, I was not there.
Mr. Samba, can you tell us what happened after they pushed the paramilitary officers out and the reinforcement came in?
Mr. Samba, for isa fono commission muna natana ke biriye nyimpara sate molnyi para nyi nyori ifindita bari para nyi fana murundan ko makara sembo tana wolem kara soja rol tana ke kafundang.
Kabiring paral tata.
When the para retreated,
Mbijele after 30 minutes.
We were there till after 30 minutes.
Ngaje soja rol ning moto nata.
We saw the soldiers came in with their vehicle.
Wolfanang moto ndingo be nyato.
They also came, there was a small vehicle in front.
Moto baba akoma.
And a truck was following this small vehicle. When they came and alighted from these vehicles, they didn't talk to anybody. What they said was, disperse. Then after they said to the people to disperse once, twice, after the third one, their leader took a gun from one of them and threw it on the tarmac.
Shot.
I have fire bomb for.
I have fire.
Okay, he fired the gun
Manokang.
on the road.
Abira fire manokang. Kesol ming boita manokang inata reflect a monani baramang molkon.
After he fired on the ground, the bullets ricocheted, and that bullets decided and those bullets struck some people, up to 4 people who were wounded with those ricochets.
Can you tell us if the bullet used that particular day were live ammunition?
Oh, isa fono commission ba ngolungo nyingo sojaro yi muna fango kesol men na fo kese tonyal le ba mem kese sobel de men kamo fa
Life ammunition on them. Kantu namanke life ammunition oti tenung ate mol baramala.
They were live ammunition. Had they not been live ammunition, they wouldn't have wounded the people.
Mr. Bayo?
Mr. Bayo?
Can you kindly tell us where you were at this point when the soldiers arrived?
Isa fono nyabang ita benu binto le biri nyin sojarol furata.
I was standing with this man at the same place.
Tell us what you observed.
Fanya ite mune kitela korosir dadi.
When the soldiers arrived, they didn't talk. They said, disperse. People didn't listen to them.
I opened fire.
And that's the time when he shot these bullets on the road. The crowd on the other side, these bullets were ricocheting from the tarmac road towards the people. It didn't wound people up who were standing up, but the wounds were on their legs. And anyone who happens to be wounded shouts. So this is how people dispersed. Because at that point, people thought that they were going to kill. So when people dispersed, the paras came back and decided to follow people into their compounds and started arresting people, and they started beating up people.
Can you kindly tell us from the time of the soldiers' intervention to the time the paramilitary returned to the village? Can you tell us the timeline?
When soldiers came in and this incident happened and people decided to disperse, the soldiers decided to hold the whole village. Then the paras came.
So the soldiers were present in the village when the paramilitary officers returned.
Yes, they were the people who stood at the gates, so that the paramilitary will be able to lay hands on people.
So the paramilitary officers proceeded to arresting individuals from their homes.
In their homes. And that's not enough. Even if you are on board a vehicle and they look at your ID card and decide and discover that you are from Jambanjeli, they will arrest you.
Did that happen on that very day?
That was the very day people were arrested from their homes. We were the people arrested from our homes.
Can you tell us how you were arrested from your home?
Ite fon kunnen sila fo isa fo no commission yete muta no nyaadi le so kono.
It was in my compound and in my own house where they arrested me.
Kindly tell us how you were arrested.
Fonye tenda ya fo commission ye muta no nyaadi le.
I was in my house.
Opposite compound.
The opposite compound. I heard them beating a stranger who was lodging in the opposite compound. I came out of the house. I told them this man is a stranger. He is not even a Gambian. Then one of them told me, oh, as far as you are a Gambian, you are the people we need. I said to them, well, look at me, that's me. That was the time when they kicked my legs under me, I fell down. They just took me up and put me on board a vehicle. A truck was parked at the cemetery. If anyone is caught, they will beat you. They will take you, after beating you, they will take you and put you on board that vehicle. And if that vehicle is filled, they take us to the Brikama station.
Can you tell us how they identified the people that were to be arrested on that particular day?
Silang fo isa fo no commission itol ye munta man receive nyaadi lelta pour ka mol mura men ya lonko ye wollel muta wo lungo nyinde ka long.
They just go into the compound, and any person they see in the compound, you are a male, they will take you away. They didn't distinguish whether you are a young man or an old man, anyone, a male, they will take you away. Because they said the whole village is part of the problem.
Mr. Sama, can you tell us where you were when this mass arrest was going on in the village?
Mr. Samba, silang fo ita fanan sa fo no commission ita benu minto le biri nyi mutare jawo be kirin sa to nyin kono.
I was inside the village.
Antung kabiring sojarol ye dula mutafo marseto.
Because when the soldiers decided to stand guard at different places up to the market,
sato nyin karado modolbe tengma fongola.
On the other side of the village,
a modolbe sato karadola.
And there were other people also on the other side of the village.
Military be tema.
And the soldiers were in between.
Because ntelemu satela nyati.
Because I happen to be the eyes of the village. I was standing in the middle. So those who were living on the other side, I usually take them across.
For kabiring alansaro tambeta.
Until after the 5 o'clock prayers, after Maghrib. I went home.
You were not arrested on that day, correct?
No, I was not arrested on that day.
Mr. Bayo, you told us that after arresting someone,
Mr. Bayo,
they will take you close to where the graveyard is.
And
beat you up. Can you tell us how this was done?
They parked the truck at the cemetery. That's the truck which took people away. Because that's where the borehole is also located. The borehole which brought all this problem is next to the cemetery. That's where they parked this truck. Anyone they get hold of in the village, they will put you on board the smaller vehicle and take you to the truck. When the truck gets filled up, they will go to the Brikama station.
You mentioned earlier that you were beaten before you were taken on board the truck.
Ya fanun koman to jang yete fanan lipale janni be sambala moto nyin kono.
Bagede.
Seriously.
Can you tell us how you were being beaten?
Sa fono hanin kabi commission yete lipa nyaadi de.
Ke landi duma e bulol mute singol muta.
They will put you down on the ground, some will hold your legs, others will hold your hands, and they will beat you very seriously with the baton until you yourself will know that they have dealt with me. The moment they take you to the vehicle, you have to subdue, you will have to calm down.
And you said that the individuals that were arrested were a mix of both young and old.
Info haninka bi mol me alon ko ye wollel muta mol me alon ko dindingol beje ke bal beje.
I was arrested along with this man's father.
That is Mr. Dabo's father.
Well, Mr. Dabo di kodi afama.
Yes, it is Mr. Dabo's father. Yes.
Mr. Dabo, can you tell us how old your father was at that time?
Mr. Dabo, faisa fono commission haninka bi te fama o wato la sanjio be sanji jellen o wato.
Wato sa fono say abe 70 to 80.
I can say that at that time he will be between 70 towards 80 years.
Mr. Bayo, can you tell us if Mr. Dabo's father was subjected to the same treatment as you before being taken on board the truck?
Mr. Bayo, faisa fono haninka bi commission Mr. Dabo Farmer, 400 biada fana maranya me menkela fo maranya kilo nyim fana yola kala bambiri asamba umuroni.
The same thing because he kai bula moto kono ako ente ke baba ambita amela dinni wala ko alkante ke baba blan moto kono.
The same thing happened to him because when they told him to board the vehicle, he told them, I am an old man. This thing was caused by the youth of the village. I am an old man. What am I going to do in the vehicle?
I told them,
this man is my uncle. He is an old man. He is not part of the whole thing. Why do you want to take him away? That was the time when someone hit me on my mouth until my mouth started bleeding.
Did they do anything to the old man at that point?
When they take you and put you on board the vehicle, they will put you on board the vehicle and make you lie down, and they will start trotting on you. They will stand on you. They don't check whether he's an old man or a young man. They don't look at that.
You mentioned that you were stretched and flogged.
They beat
me up to the point that, sorry, I knew that they really dealt with me.
Can you tell us if the old man was also beaten in the same manner before being taken on board the truck?
Very seriously. Very seriously.
Yeah, very seriously.
Can you tell us the name of this old man?
Bajau Dabo.
His name is Bajau Dabo.
Can you tell us roughly how many of you were arrested on that particular day?
It's too much. I cannot count it.
I cannot give you a number. It's too much. A lot of people were arrested.
Can you please give us an estimate at least?
Almost 50 or 40.
Almost 50 to 40 people were arrested.
Can you tell us the youngest person in your group?
Umar Baro, what are the school?
Umar Baro, at that time he was a schoolboy.
Do you know how old Umar Baro was at that time?
Less than 20.
He was less than 20.
And he was also subjected to the same treatment as everyone in that group.
Yes, they don't leave anybody out.
Same category.
The same thing, the same dealing.
When you were put on board this truck, can you tell us where you were taken?
Biri yal bulande nyim moto ba nyin kono hanin kabi faisa fono yal samba mindole.
In Samba Brikama station.
We were taken to the Brikama station.
Mr. Samba, can you tell us if you were aware of what happened to this first group of individuals that were arrested?
Mr. Samba hanin kabi faisa fono nyila ba nyim kafu folo nyim me yalon ko yewul muta. Yala ne muna ketela ba.
Ha.
Yes.
Antung kabiring ye ni minul muta sato kono inate fi kabur koto ike lipale.
Because anyone who has been arrested inside the village, they will bring you to the cemetery, to the truck. But that's where they will deal with you, they will beat you mercilessly.
Yes, Samba Birkama station.
And afterwards, they were taken to the Brikama station.
From Birkama station, yes, Samba Parala Korda Bato Kanifing.
From the Brikama station, they were then driven to the paramilitary compound at Kanifing.
Did you do anything as a member of the VDC to prevail on the PIU to release the villagers that were being arrested?
For ye ku kela bantu mala mena ite mu molti me alon ko imu idabe sa to la yiri wandi ka fo committee on ko idabe jele fo ye ku kela ban memba jela ko ibaje ko pour nyi paral ye nyi mul muta muta ye bula.
That was the reason why I personally, myself, I was arrested. Because we slept the following day in the morning. Somebody came to me and told me that as far as we are the eyes of this village, let's go to the Alkali. From there, we make sure that we go after our people. When we went to the Alkalo's compound, I was exchanging greetings with the Alkali. Even before explaining our reason to come there, the vehicle, the paramilitary arrived with their vehicle.
Can you tell us the name of the Alcalo during that period?
His name is Nuhajame, and he is still the Alkali of the village.
And this occurred on the second day?
Yes, this was the second day.
Can you tell us, Mr. Bayo, if anything happened while you were detained at the police station on the first day?
Mr. Bayo, for haninka before sa for no nyela bang for ku ketala bang ila jela bang me ya lonko wato men nalbe Morocco no police station no Brikama dum foloni.
Kabrim furata je mol siata police will bolta responsibility lale.
When we reached Brikama police station, people were so much that the police decided to abandon their responsibilities.
Then
that's the time when they told the paramilitary officers to take us away from the police station and take us to their camp. That was the time when they brought a truck and we were bundled inside the truck like bags and they took us away. When we reached Kanifing, their camp, there is a field. Just an open place, just like this place, that's where we were dumped. A gunman will sit down on the other side with his gun. And another gunman will sit down somewhere. And another person with a gun will sit on the other side. This is how we were surrounded and we were in their middle. They said to us to lie down. And that's the time when they started walking on our bodies. And some of them were even dancing on us. They decided to bring a hose pipe and fixed it. And fixed it on the tab, and it coincided with the cold season. And they started throwing water on us until we were all wet.
With serious beating.
We went along with serious beatings.
3 days.
For 3 good days. This is what they do to us.
Can you tell us what they used to beat you with?
The battens they had.
E jibo nyawnya niye fadi balo kajale.
Sorry. Even if they put water on you, the moment they arrive and start beating you with that baton, immediately your body will dry up.
And that happened to you on the first night?
And second day and third day.
It happened to me on the second day also, and also on the third day.
Mr. Dabo, you were not present on the day that Mr. Bayo was arrested.
Mr. Dabo, ite mandanu mabirinje lumfolo me yalonko Mr. Bayo nyolumuta.
Can you tell us when you arrived at the village, what happened?
Silam foisa fono nye muna natana ke biri furata sate onyindo.
Nte mbedo kula nyinko amante tara sate kon.
As for me, I was at my workplace when this thing happened. I was not in the village at the time.
Around 3 to 4, na having a call from my Kabom farmer.
Around 3 to 4, my father called me.
Akonem binala nga mano sanna nyola bantal mimbi tilikilin tabiro lebije.
He told me to buy rice when I was coming because the rice left at home is only for 1 day.
Another overtime was 2 hours, going summer for 7 o'clock.
And on that day, we had to work for overtime, which went on until 7 o'clock.
Kabiru was 7 jita don tara KMC, amano sanje, natanga moto batun that.
So when I closed around 7, I went to KMC, I bought some rice, and I came and waited for the vehicle, and I went home. When I arrived at Brikama, it was after 7 o'clock prayers. When I reached Brikama, I boarded another vehicle there and went to Jambanjili.
It's around 8 o'clock.
That was around 8 at night. When I was inside this vehicle, that's where a lady informed me that there is fighting going on inside Jambanjeli because the paramilitary are fighting with the villagers. Yes, because after that, when they first informed me, I told them that I wasn't coming there. Because trouble, when it starts, nobody knows where it will end. It might bring further problems for you. So when I reached the village, I went to my home. So when I asked for my father, they told me that he went to the village to look for some boys whom he will work with, because usually he sells yams and oranges. So that they will come and take a donkey cart and go to collect these things from the bush. They told me now it is late since he left here, we haven't seen him, we don't know where he is. So that's the situation. But the people in the compound weren't aware that he has been arrested. So we spent the night there till the following morning. I wore my uniform to go to work. When I reached Brikama, they asked me my ID card. So that's where they made us alight the vehicle. They said any person who comes from Jambanjeli, you will alight here. If you want to talk, they will tell you that we don't want to hear anyone talking.
About 5 to 6 people in the water.
About 5 to 6 of us were made to alight from that vehicle.
In Samba, Brikama station.
And we were taken to the cells inside the Brikama police station.
So the whole day, we arresting Dona, Motonata, Ibota Jamanjeri, Ikesa Manangel.
The whole day they went on arresting people. Every vehicle which comes from Jambanjeli, they will go to the vehicle and make sure that any person from Jambanjeli will be arrested.
No questions were asked.
No.
And the only thing that they needed was that the person was from Jambanjeli.
Munde tol sura men bela wala nyindi ko momo yaran ko ibora jambanjel dron.
Yes.
Mr. Samba,
Mr. Samba,
you did mention that you were also arrested on the second day.
ya fo jango ifana ye mutale lungo fulanjango nyi.
You were arrested because you went to inquire about the people, the individuals that were arrested on the first day.
Yete muta dalilo men ga wala nyindi ko lungo samo nyi lummen na ite fanan tara je pour ka nyinin karo ke lam mo la me an ko yewlo muta lum folo nyinna.
Yes.
Can you tell us roughly how many of you were arrested on that day?
Fo sa fo no nyi yaldo mo jelle muta lungo nyin.
Wolungo kabirin toltata alkalo ya paral nata imandi ya mafa ikonyele rong albula motokono.
That day, when we went to talk to the alkali and the military officers arrived there, they didn't tell us anything. They didn't talk. They just told us to board the vehicle. When we boarded the vehicle, they went round the village. Any young man they set eyes on, they will run after you to pick you up. And the moment they catch you, they bring you inside the vehicle. 16 of us were arrested on that day and taken to Brikama. And we were all put in one cell.
Can you tell us the age categories of the individuals that were arrested with you?
Yete ni menu muranyola fo isa fo no nye ila sanyi siol be sanyi jelle. Nyono wanyadi la.
Bambo Sise obenun sanji tani worole.
Bambo Sise was 16 years old.
Student do fanambi nunje woman tambi sanji tani lulu tani worola.
There was another student who will be around 15 to 16 years.
Andong malamin baji fanang obe sanji tan woro wala nimfe.
And Malamin Baji will be around 70 something years.
Well, they
don't look for anything. They just pick up people. And anyone they set eyes on a male, they'll pick you up.
So you were arrested along with some minors who you said were students?
Yes, they were students.
This incident, that is the incident leading to your arrest, occurred on the 15th of December, correct?
Yes. It started on the 14th and towards the 15th.
When you arrived at the police station, were you informed of the reason for your arrest?
No.
Hanin tol fango janni batala yendundi selol kono le kabirim ibe mfuntinde la kanket roko kono le yentol safe.
Well, when we arrived at the station, we were all put inside the cell. And later on, it was later on that we were brought out, our names, our details were taken, then we were put on board a truck.
Were you charged with any offense when you arrived at the station?
Briefly, the police station or you tumir day come dala banka for any luatinya wale asabungi mutabang.
Honey.
No.
How about you, Mr. Vajo? Were you charged with any particular offense when you were taken to the police station?
Mr. Bayo, ita dung fanandung for tumir day come dala bang. Viri esamba police station or bang.
Honey.
No.
Were you told the reason why you were arrested when you arrived at the station?
For in the dalilo me asabu ye mutabang biri for the police station or bang.
What they told us was that you are the people who decided to fight the paras. I said to them, how? How to fight with the paras? How? What has they done? They said to me, is that what you are going to say?
That is slap.
Then I got a slap for that.
What statement?
That's the statement.
The slap was the statement and nothing else.
Slap was the statement.
And I assume that they did not take any statement from any of you on that particular day.
No,
that didn't happen.
Who was the head of the station? That's Brikama police station at that time.
police station
I don't know the person. I didn't at that time. Because at that time I didn't even think about that.
Mr. Sambi, you raised your hand. Can you kindly answer the question?
It was Jao.
Ibrahima Jao.
Ibrahima Jao. He was the person in particular who arrested me.
Mr. Dabo.
Mr. Dabo.
You were going to work when you were arrested.
Yes.
Can you tell us roughly how many people they arrested on that particular day that they were telling people to alight from the vehicle, then arrest them?
Silam foi sa fono komisonga olungo nyi lungo mena ya lonko ya lamuro londi ka fo ale jina ya tro mo jelle muta moto nyi kono.
Kapin somanda for around 5 or siata more than 7 event.
They started that in the morning, up to 5. I think the people arrested were more than 30 people.
So, Kabin Wularo, another truck of a Blando and some PIU.
So in the evening, they brought a truck where we all boarded, and then we were taken to the PIU headquarters.
No, a truck of Anila.
And the truck was filled up.
Can you tell us roughly the age range of the individuals that were arrested with you?
Ite yere ni mol mel mutanyola fo isa fo no nyela sanyi siol nyimbe sanyi bitar la jeli la sanyo sanyiol be sanyi tar la sanyi jelle.
Model bije wole wato wol siata tan nanti.
Some were above 40 years.
Some are around 50.
Some were around 50 years.
Some were 30.
Some were 30. It was a mix-up, young and old people.
Mr. Samba told us that in his batch there were some minors that were arrested.
Mr. Samba nyimfanya jan ya tani men mutanyola dolbe je dinni wala me an ko yewul fana muta.
In your own batch, were there any minors that were arrested with you?
Ite hanika bi dabo ite la mol kono yete ni men mutanyola hanika bi dinni wol be jele ba.
Dinni na mal bi jelde. Min yalan ko be sanji tan sabay dumala. Maybe 25, 26.
Yes, there were young people who were around 25, 26 years of age.
You were also taken, directly to the PIU headquarters, correct?
Munda yede fana tendendi wala nyama yesamba para la korda baro kodi.
Can you tell us what happened when you arrived at the PIU headquarters?
Han kabi sa fono komison e muna nata na ke bri ni yefutandi para la korda baro.
Abin futaraje yembe jindi.
When we arrived, we were all made to alight from the vehicle.
Na monyo taraje nyun jamanyel kol bebe siring luoteje tilokon.
We met other people from Jambanjeli who were made to sit down in this open field under the sun. And we were also made to sit down with them. That's where I was sitting until my father, who was sitting under the veranda, saw me and called me.
Can you tell us the state your father was in when you saw him?
Han kabi foi sa fono nye ifa ma biri nyaaya je abe mu alhala nyaadi le tonu biri te nyaaya je.
Abe siri la office dal do jimmawte je.
He was sitting at the door of their office under the veranda, and he was facing to us. He was facing us.
Did you observe anything about him that was peculiar?
Foi kusora la baymen korosi ato ba me alongo kukuta la mo mem findira balaba.
Mo koro ba onna be jamfari nyonya mo koro because I command la man ko I command and tatin down kala.
Well, we were far from each other. I didn't scrutinize him because there was a distance between me and him. He just called me, then I turned, I looked at him, I realized that I recognized him, but I didn't go to where he was sitting down.
And that was the first time you noticed that he too was arrested?
o wa jetom ya long wati following ya long ko atafana muketa moldi ya long ko ya mutale
arresto ngo lom Brikama mole afunya Brikama ko ifama fana ya tendendeli kuni militate ya ni wala sambanyol.
I heard about his arrest in Brikama. Somebody told me that he was arrested the day before, on the first day, and he was taken away with the people who were arrested on that first day. I heard that in Brikama.
Mr. Dabo, you told us that upon arrival at the Brikama police station, you were taken on board a truck.
Mr. Dabo, ye info janko biri fuda Brikama police station orong ye samba ke tenten ke bulandi moroba kono.
Can you tell us where you were taken?
Pesa fono nye ye samba mintole.
Kabe ularo troko nate kombe findi. Ye molbe to safi.
Well, that evening when the truck came, they told us all to go out, and our names were written down.
My apologies, I had a little bit of a mix-up there. The question was actually directed to Mr. Samba.
Mr. Samba nyini ngaro nyimu itelati. Biring Alfred police station ore ko ye tentendi ye bulandi moroba nyinkono. Ye samba mintole.
Yen Samba PI ula headquarters.
We were taken to the PIU headquarters.
How about the minors that were with you?
Indindina moldung meni be nyokandu.
Yembe Samba dula kilinne.
We were all taken to one place.
Kabiring Ibn Sambala mile tule tol Samba Joshua.
When we were being taken to mile 2, that's the time when they were taken to Joshua.
So all three groups converged at the PIU headquarters.
Munda alto nyin kafusa bol be yalto muta mol nyingal be benta para la kordabar.
Be yembe jurumudula kilinne.
We were all dumped at the same place, at one place.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Chair, I just noticed that it's already 1.5 hours, so this will be a safe time to take a break, and then when we resume, we'll continue with their testimonies.
Nsi lojang ngatan dahari ngola nimurunda nansi tenteng zedandirola.
Thank you, Council. Yeah, thank you, Council. We'll take a 30-minute break and come back at 1 o'clock.
Ida fonyondi ngola mondro minute tansa wala nimbora wala nsina murna.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.